Hello, welcome back to my studio. In this painting tips video, I'm going to look at that one essential ingredient that we all need to use to create successful paintings. Alright, we all want to paint great paintings, but what is that missing ingredient? What is the thing that so many beginner artists fail to do? And I almost hesitate to say the word because it has so many unpleasant connotations. But the word is preparation. It sounds like my teacher telling me to prepare for the next test or the next exam, and I hated preparation. I'm more of leave it to the last minute and hope for the best. But in painting, well, we enjoy that, don't we? So it's not exactly a hardship. But many of us will start a painting and just put the canvas up and just start painting away, and then get stuck and try and fix things, and it becomes a mess in no time at all. So I'm going to look at a few tips that you can apply to your painting preparation. Recently I had to do some preparation for one of my live video sessions in the Artist Live channel. And I'm going to show you a few of those steps that I took to test out the subject and prepare. And it turns out that it was a lot of fun, and the little preparation studies are so engaging. It's something that there was no expectation, but I enjoy them so much that they become works of art in their own right. Okay, the methods that I'm going to show you are over and above any little thumbnail sketch I'll do with pencil or wedge tip marker pens. This is more where I'm trying to get the colors and leading into an actual painting. So a couple of things I like to use are these Derwent. These are called Graphitint paint pans. I'll show you those in a moment. And also the little watercolor pan set that I use quite a lot for studies, and of course pastels. Now, none of these have to be high-end. You're not trying to produce a fine art work for a gallery. This is purely the preparatory stage. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Just get the basic student quality materials, and I'll show you how I use those right now. Okay, I've divided a piece of watercolor paper into 4 squares, and I'm starting with the first painting idea using some of the watercolors. This is a set of watercolor pans made by Mungyo, and they're very good value, some nice colors, easy to use. So I'm not worrying about traditional watercolor technique here. It's just about putting down these color notes. It's all ideas that I want to explore, inspired by this reference that you can see there. So basically I want a fireplace and trees and a figure, and I'm thinking about the light. Also, what colors I'm going to use. Purples, blues, oranges, reds. These are colors that I'm not that familiar with in a nocturne type of scene, so I want to test them out. These turquoise, greens and blues. It's all something that I don't want to get stuck with in the middle of an oil painting and wonder what to do next. So painting very directly, throwing in some white as well to get a smoky color. And you can see this is simply a case of putting down color notes directly, not working really in any layers. But I will come back to this, and as I move on to the other ideas on this piece of paper, this watercolor is going to dry, and then I'll come back to it. So when it's dry, then it's time for the pastels. Now moving on to the next one, this is another reference that I'm considering, and I want to just get an idea as well. Lots of darks, very atmospheric and dramatic. So what colors would I use? I'm trying out some purple. As you can see, I put on some reddish orange color, some deep blues, ultramarine, a bit cobalt, and a greenish tinged sky. How's that going to look? I'm going to leave this fairly abstract as watercolor and come back to it with pastels when it's dry, and just develop these color note ideas a bit further. Now here I'm using the Graphitint watercolor pans for a more value-driven picture. I'm working roughly from this reference, and I must be honest, I wasn't entirely sure about this reference as a painting idea. It just seemed a little divided into two halves, and there was nothing really drawing me to it, just this building. And so the darker values, I was exploring that, but I also wanted to bring in color. So the Graphitint has a whole range of sort of earthy based colors, from blues and grays through to very low key greens and yellows and reds. As you can see, gives a very subdued color scheme. So I left that and then moved on to the fourth idea, which was just the fireplace, and I wanted to explore the fireplace itself with its different colors, etc. But improvising with a bit of surrounding information, some trees, there's a moon in the sky, not really waiting for watercolor layers to dry. I'm just getting in there, putting down shapes and color notes, and just letting the ideas flow. Nobody is going to see this except you, of course, so I'm just really playing with it. Once everything is dry, I'll get out my pastels and just reinforce some of those color notes, just heighten the vibrancy of them. The opaqueness is boosted, and here I get a sense of what it would look like if I put down a color note with oil paint, kind of like I'm doing here, to emphasize the fire and the light. The pastels would give me an excellent idea of the light, whereas the watercolor sets the stage for the vibrant color that I'm thinking of bringing forward with oils. So these color possibilities, this is what you want to test right now. How about purple like this with oil paints? And this one, I'm trying to boost the idea a bit, throwing in some deep yellows, but it's not really moving me. So on to the next. And reinforcing once again the light, using a bit of light blue pastel to get that cool light coming out across the foreground, emphasizing some of the darks. And the dark, of course, shows off the light, and you can see what that's going to look like, more or less. I'm really enjoying the deep yellows and oranges in this type of scene, and against the purples and violets, well, it really works, doesn't it? Try it all out. Go back in with the brush, draw in a few details, power lines and little things like that. And it doesn't matter if you make a wrong step, who cares? That's just something you store in the memory bank, and you don't make that mistake in your oil painting. Or this, of course, applies to acrylics too. bit of pastel in the sky there, just to increase the vibrancy of yellow against violet. So I think this would make a really nice subject, and really powerful colors can come into it. And how's this bluish purple color? It's really amazing effect. And this one pretty much has settled itself. Just the white of the paper creating the heart of the fire, and I just have to add a bit of yellow and orange. A few interesting blues and purples would look nice too. And that's it. So good preparation, and now I can face the oil paintings with a lot of confidence and know that I'm on the right track, and things I need to do and things I must avoid. A few little last touches, bit of pastel, really enjoying the process. Well, I hope this makes preparation a little more interesting for you, and something that you can spend a bit of time on. It could be half an hour or an hour well spent just getting to know your subject before you start the actual painting. And you may find that this exercise is so much fun that it becomes something you do very often. And that'll lead to doing the occasional excellent painting as well as the sort of main event. So develop a habit of always being ready to prepare for the next painting, and you'll get fantastic results. Alright, don't forget to look at the free course up here. No strings attached. Join up and enjoy the free course. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do that now, and make sure you've hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video as well. Okay, enjoy your painting, and until next time, cheers for now.